What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today I'm going to be helping you guys out with this week's Grandmaster Nightfall with a simple cheese to make that gruesome boss battle a lot simpler. We'll also go over a few other helpful tips and tricks to get you through some of the other tricky parts of the Glassway Strike. Now, as always, if you enjoy the video and find it helpful, be sure to hit the like button below and hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. So like I said, this week's Nightfall can be a bitch. It is the Glassway Strike on Europa. Let's just be real about it. This strike can suck. It can be quite challenging, especially on Master and Grandmaster difficulties, which are now available. But by utilizing this new cheese method, you'll be able to take a lot of the stress away from your team or yourself if you're attempting this solo, which if you're attempting this solo, kudos to you. Now, during the boss encounter, there are several waves of champions, wyverns, and the 2 Hydra bosses, along with plenty of ads to keep you busy. And to make things easier for yourself, when you approach the encounter, when you come into the arena, go to the right corridor. And as you enter the boss encounter, jump into the second pillar that's on the right side of that wall once you've entered into the corridor. Now you're going to see a hole that leads down into some radiolarium. You will need to kind of slide and jump your way into this hole, and as you fall through, there's going to be a little ledge to your right. You're going to want to land on that because you want to try to avoid landing in the radiolarium. It will definitely hurt, but if you have concussive dampener mods on, that can really help. Now from here, you're going to want to jump across to the pillar and beyond that to the little ground that is just below it. Now this is the very edge of the lining of the map. From here, if you drop down, you're literally dropping one layer into the floor, which is under the map. Now from here, you should be able to see your knees as you walk, and if you walk towards the right, you're going to find a little groove, a narrow space, a cavity in the wall that leads into the floor, and from here you can kind of look up and see inside the arena. Right now you're kind of caught between like a nexus between the floors, and you can shoot out of this if you're right in the right positioning. It might take a couple of minutes, a few attempts to get this right as far as getting to here and then getting in the right positioning to fire out. But certain positions within this little cavity allow you to shoot your weapons out of the floor, being able to damage enemies during the boss encounter. This means that you can use this as a location to hunker down and let your other 2 teammates work on the entire boss encounter, ensuring that the team won't wipe, or you can aid in taking out some of those enemies. It's going to make things a lot slower. It's going to take a lot longer to get this strike completed this way, but you can ensure that you're going to actually complete it and not continuously wipe, because this boss encounter is straight up insanity, because you're kind of closed in and they chase you no matter where you go. But if you can have a teammate get into this spot and be able to get under the floor to either hide or aid in firing and shooting those enemies, it could really help take a lot of that stress off of this strike. Now, if you get into the right placement here and you're able to fire out, I'm going to tell you, avoid using grenade launchers, bows, and rockets, because in one positioning here you might be able to fire out of the wall, but by taking a step to the left you may not be able to anymore. So you don't want to fire a weapon that's going to blow up in your face. Xenophage would be a great heavy choice to use here, but otherwise just stick to your normal guns. A scout rifle is great, or a hand cannon. Anti-barrier rounds are going to be able to help when that Hydra comes around and you're able to fire at it. Now, if you're having difficulty before this boss encounter, there's a couple of other things that I can help make things easier for you, but that's going to conclude everything for that cheese. It's really going to help you guys out towards the boss encounter, but there's some other tricky spots on the strike. Now, overall, there's a lot more overload champions than there are barrier champions, so keep that in mind. But ideally, each member of your team should have a weapon or mods equipped to be able to handle both. Each member being able to handle both, because at some points you're handling multiple champions at the same time. Your fire team might be stretched out across the arena, and you need to be able to handle whatever is coming at you. So you need to be equipped for both both anti-barrier and for overload here. Now, Divinity works really well throughout this strike, so I would definitely suggest it or Xenophage. Now, one particular area of the strike gives a lot of fire teams difficulty, and that is the capturing the plate when you're draining the radiolarium on the bridge. Now, the best way to successfully capture this plate is not to just stand on the plate and try to hold it the whole time. Think capture the flag, it's not PvP. What you want to do is just stand on the plate at the very initial go. It'll get to 10%, and at this point, that's when you're going to see adds from the right and left walls come down. You're actually going to have 2 different rounds of shanks come out at you. So what you want to do first is back up to the boxes that are at the entrance of this bridge. Now you can use them to the left or right and bounce between to avoid grenades and just being in line of fire. You can work on the adds, drop a tether down, which is great right on the plate because they'll come to the plate to get to you. Now once you've knocked out the waves of shanks, you'll be able to run back up to the plate. And this time you'll be able to get it up to about 50% before the next wave of adds come in. Now this will be another wave of shanks, so just rinse and repeat the process. Next time around, when you're standing on the plate, you'll get to about 80%, and then you'll have vandals and snipers on the left and right walls, and then you'll have some vandals trying to throw grenades at you from the lower floors below you. Just try to stick with a high ground here. You don't want to drop down once you've gotten the plate secured. You want to stay back. Enemies are going to spawn ahead of you. Allow them to spawn in and then back up. Scout rifles and hand cannons are great on this. I know a lot of people are using Anarchy, but I really don't feel like Anarchy is the best weapon to choose on this particular strike. But, you know, whatever works, whatever your best loadout is, by all means, utilize it if it's comfortable for you. Snipers are always going to be a sure bet because you're working on a lot of long-range encounters here. And there you have it, Guardians. A couple of tips and tricks to get you through this week's Glassway Grandmaster Nightfall, and a simple cheese to get you through that boss encounter. I wish you guys the best and luck this week getting a completion done, and I hope you get some really good loot. This week's Nightfall reward is the Plug 1-1, so hopefully you get a good roll on it this week because it does come with Reservoir Burst. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button below. It's greatly appreciated, as is hitting the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We're still recruiting to our clan and our community, so be sure to check out the Discord link in the description below. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you some happy hunting.